Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Nigeria leads demand for Africa's debt relief from IMF. Federal government orders road contractors back to sites. Tinubu needs not reintroduce himself, says APC. Illegal buildings pulled down in Lekki. Procurement fraud. EFCC recovers $27 billion and $19 million. Why governors can't ban mining by Alake. And Tinubu holds Ndigbo in high esteem, says Shatima. Okay, which story?
Okay, so I have the Lagos government demolishing structures on a drainage. So some structures at the Lekki, Ikota, Gegede communities in Lekki Phase 2 of Lagos were demolished. And according to the Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, the demolition has underscored the seriousness of the governor about law and order and restoration in Lagos State. He said that these properties were given notices since year 2000 from the time they laid the foundation for those buildings, and they continue to give them such notices to leave the floodplains and give right of way to drainages. So what they have done is they built and clogged the floodplains, and he said that the approved right of way is 15 meters, but due to the area, the high density of the area, they reduced it to 10 meters, and yet some people still clogged it. They cannot make the larger number of people suffer for one person or a few people's convenience. And so I'm hoping that this continues to reflect around the state so that we can avert what we experienced early in the year when the flood started.
Yes, I have. EFCC has launched a probe of some former governors, ministers over what it describes as monumental procurement fraud. They said missing funds have been tracked. Some of the missing funds that are being tracked are said to have been meant for the Mambila and Zungeru power projects. And the commission in their investigation found that these funds were diverted through VDC operators, and many houses have been purchased with the funds, but they are being recovered. Some of the houses are in Abuja, Lagos, and Cross River states. The commission says that in 3 different cases, they've recovered over 27 billion naira and then over $19 million. It's an ongoing process. The investigation followed petitions against public officials, including former governors, ex-ministers, and ministry officials. There's also another investigation that is ongoing. This one involves some officials of federal ministries of power and agriculture. But they're saying that once investigations are done, we would also hear the outcome of, the investigations.
Let me take APC's response to the to the Labour Party presidential candidates who said yesterday that the president needs to introduce himself and tell Nigerians his true identity. APC has responded saying that the president need not to reintroduce himself to Nigerians who already voted for him. And this is the man, according to the report, that won as a senator in Nigeria and became governor, 2-time governor, and all the security verifications were already carried out in all his various offices. In addition to that, the BBC also came out to say specifically that there was no evidence that the diploma the president submitted to INEC was forged, noting that the allegation that his certificates were faked, that went viral on social media, was false, and that it could not be validated. Specifically, the BBC said that it was given access to the deposition transcript by Atiku's spokesperson. This was a deposition by the registrar of the Chicago State University, where it was very clear that all the false information going on social media was actually unsubstantiated. According to the BBC, specifically, they said that there were 3 different diplomas for Mr. Tinubu. There was one that was issued in 1979, which, according to him, got lost while he was on exile. Then they said that the second one that he submitted to what he submitted to INEC, according to Atiku, was false. And according to BBC, they're saying that based on the diplomas received, given out in the 1990s, were correlated with the diplomas he actually submitted, because that was Atiku's main crux of argument, that what was submitted to INEC was different from the certificate issued back in 1979. And they were saying that several times the issues they issued in 1979, the 1990s, and the 2000s. Yeah. And the fonts were different.
Yes.
You're going to add to that?
They're going to say, like, over periods of time, they would change the format a bit. So if you were to ask for your result that maybe in the 70s, there's a format it had in the 70s. If you had in the 80s, there's a different format. That this was something that the university would do regularly.
So say that the allegations on social media were based on the comparison of what was submitted to what was actually issued in 1979, and there's no comparison in that. Anyway, we'll see how it goes because we're still waiting for the Supreme Court's ruling on this case. Any story, Nation?
Yes, federal government orders road contractors back to site. And the federal government yesterday directed contractors of abandoned projects to stop palliative work and return to site fully. And so this was made known yesterday by the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. And he said that 80% of the road rehabilitation by FEMA are now to be executed by direct labor as against the way it was before. And he said the contractors that have been given these jobs are to return to site within 14 days. And if they don't do so, there would be a termination of their contract. So they're going to reassign their contracts going forward if they do not resume within the 14 days. He didn't state the number, the projects that are affected, but he went on to say that the payment of contractors would now be based on the work done with verifiable proof, as against the way it was done before, just like piling up a lump sum and giving them. But if they do not send in a proof of the work that they've been done, they will not pay them.
I think it's wrong to sometimes give contractors contract and expect them to find the funding. There should be an initial take-off grant or take-off fund that they should give them.
Okay, moving on to the Punch. Certificate forgery, Atiku Obi protest as BBC fact-checkers clear Tinubu. Air Force launches new aircraft, awaits attack helicopters. Ohaneze hails Igboho's release, asks Tinubu to free Kanu. Lagos demolishes structures obstructing drainages. Diphtheria kills 600 in 19 states. NPHCDA recommends face mask. EFCC recovers 27 billion naira and $19 million, probes ex-governors and ex-ministers. It's unconstitutional for states to regulate mining, says federal government. Okay, which story?
The Minister for what's his name? Solid Minerals, and his name Oladele was speaking at the 8th edition of the annual Nigerian Mining Week, where he addressed the clash of governments, parastatals now. He's saying that the state governors or governments lack the powers to ban mining in their state. He was addressing Zamfara, Osun, Kebbi, and some of the other states that have banned mining for various reasons. Zamfara particularly, I'm with them on this. But he says that it is a constitutional matter. There's nowhere mining is under any confusing state. It is an exclusive list issue. It's on the exclusive legislative list and is not in any way confusing where that business is. It puts the power exclusively with the federal government, and no state governor should go ahead to ban mining in their state. But for states like Zamfara, who ban for security reasons, and Kebbi and Osun for other reasons, I think the reason should be looked into. But he went on and said, if a state government is interested in the business of mining, they are allowed to. They should just apply to the Ministry of Mines and Solid Minerals and get the right approval to carry on the business of mining. But they don't have the power to say, we ban mining, like in Osun, where the governor was saying he has put police around mining sites within the state. It is none of their business. Under the Constitution, it's an exclusive list matter, and there's no confusion as to where
so all these times that we're saying that, they're illegal mining sites, are they saying this is with the
So if a state, for instance, has information of an illegal mining site, inform the ministry to do the needful, not to find...
Another story in Punch?
Yes, so the Nigerian Air Force has taken delivery of 2 additional Diamond 62 aircraft. They said the Diamond DA-62 is a 5 to 7 seat twin-engine multi-purpose aircraft, and it can be used for pilot training, light liaison missions. It can also be configured for manned intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions. And it says the Chief of Air Staff has said that this aircraft would add a vibe to the service operations at the various theaters of operations. We also, the Air Force also earlier in October 11th had received additional 2 Diamond 62 aircraft. And they said that these aircraft have since been deployed to the operating theaters in support of the ongoing effort to restore peace and stability in troubled areas within the country. He also urged personnel to ensure proper maintenance, which is important, and operation of the aircraft in line with recommended best practices by the manufacturers. And also, the Air Force is saying that in no distant time, they'll be taking delivery of additional platforms that include the M346 FA aircraft, the AW109 Tracker Light Attack Helicopter, attack helicopters, and so on and so forth. Sounds all really technical to us, but we're understanding that it's just more aircraft in the war against insurgency.
So still reviewing Punch, I'll take the story. Ohaneze Ndi Igbo Hills Igbo Host release. So the Apex Igbo social cultural organization Ohaneze Ndi Igbo has appealed to the president to withdraw all charges against the leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, following the recent release of Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, a Yoruba Nation activist from the Benin prison. Ohaneze also expressed appreciation to the Yoruba leaders such as President Olusegun Obasanjo, Professor Banji Akintoye, Professor Wole Soyinka, and Pa Ayo Adebanjo, who worked tirelessly towards Sunday Igboho's release. And they're saying that they believe that this is an opportunity for the president also to release Nnamdi Kanu, allowing him to regain his freedom. According to him, the Biafran group also, Ohaneze also calls on all Biafran groups to cease all acrimonies and offensive media wars against the federal government, urging Igbo leaders to focus on the importance of building up the region for the betterment of the nation. Furthermore, they're also saying that they acknowledge the Nigerians who feel denigrated by Kanu's actions, that they should please forgive him, and that his release will mark a significant step towards national unity and reconciliation. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Ex-governors, ministers forfeit billions, houses to EFCC. Nobody took that story. Enugu government coal mining firm reached $1 billion settlement. Obi questions Tinubu over certificate. Dollar scarcity bite harder, hits 1,000 naira and 1,030 naira. Israel-Hamas war spread to Lebanon. Deaths from diphtheria rise to 600. Owerri stands still as Uzodinma kicks off campaign. Governors, APC leaders hail. And FG puts subsidy payments in 2022 at 4 trillion naira. Yikes. Which story in Daily Sun?
Diphtheria, we have the ED, National Primary Health Development Agency. Dr. Faisal Shaib yesterday confirmed that 600 people have died of diphtheria since the first case was recorded this year. He also restated that Kano State is responsible for the larger percentage of the cases as well. He says it's heartbreaking because, you know, we find out that 73% of the reported cases are largely children aged 1 to 14 years. 80% of those affected have not received any vaccinations. You know, I've been taking the stories. It's really actually the same, you know, information that they're giving us, that Kano State is the epicenter. It's spread to, you know, other states, especially across the north. Kano, Yobe, Katsina, Borno, Kaduna, Bauchi states bear the brunt of this outbreak, as there have been over 14,000 suspected cases and over 10,000 of these cases, you know, in Kano. But they also, you know, they talked about the impact of COVID-19 and how a lot of vaccinations did not happen around that period. Also talked about non-pharmaceutical measures that can help in containing, you know, the spread of diphtheria, which is practicing vigilant hand washing, wearing face masks, maintaining physical distance from affected individuals, and so forth. But the minister also said that there's a major milestone coming up, and I think it's quite an interesting topic. I think we sort of mentioned it even amongst ourselves, is the HPV vaccine, the launch of the HPV vaccine later this month. And, you know, just talked about why it's important to do it. So the vaccine aims to prevent cervical cancer in years to come, and also the importance of engaging our, you know, traditionalists to push the conversation about getting HPV vaccine. I've talked to a few mothers. Some mothers are not quite comfortable, especially because I think you do the first one at about 9 years of age. Our daughters are that age, so some parents are still not comfortable. But the government is saying that this is completely safe. It will help prevent cancers in our children, you know, many years to come. And Yes, so I know that Lagos State had even mentioned that this will be coming quite soon. Some schools also, I think, already asking parents if they could sign on this. So I guess if we have any questions as mothers about the safety of these vaccines, this is the right time
More
to
awareness
ask them.
should be done
Yes.
at the primary health care centers, mother and child hospitals and all of that. My daughter's school already sent a message to parents to, to sign, approve of their daughter's taking.
Okay. Talking about mining, illegal mining here from Enugu. So a company called Millhouse Energy Services Limited have reached a settlement with the Enugu state government for paying them ₦1 billion into their account for, they've been mining there since February 2022 without nothing paid to the government. According to them, they have a license from the federal government, but the government is the state government is saying that you cannot be coming to our taking our resources and not even give us anything. So I think they were able to get a court injunction restraining them. I mean, interesting, there were so many other companies mining illegally, well, not illegally, mining from Enugu State without any kind of settlement or recourse to the government of Enugu State. So in this case, Millhouse has have agreed to pay ₦1 billion, and they also pay 100,000 naira for every truckload of coal evacuated from the mining site in the area of in Enugu State. And I think this is really, so it's based on,
No, but
it's slightly different.
This is even strong allegations. So state governors cannot not know what happens within them, within their state.
He's saying he has approval from the federal government. Either way, so we have to know what the relationship between the federal and state government concerning this mining. If you have federal government, does it mean that you can come into my state and take it without giving me any kind of tax and just go like that?
No. Whatever is due to the states should be spelled out. Let there be synergy between them.
So I'm happy that this. Moving on, any story in Sun?
Yes, I have the bandit story in Niger State. And so bandits again came on Tuesday night to Zagzaza community in Munya local government area in Niger State and shot dead the village head, Malam Usman Tukara, in his house. And so this report states that the way the gunmen came into the community was different from what they usually would experience. That normally they would experience that as they're coming into the city, they would shoot sporadically. The gunmen would shoot sporadically. But on this particular instance, on Tuesday evening, they came in quietly. They didn't make any noise. They attacked people quietly before then shooting. And so they were caught unawares. And so 15 people were also abducted again within the state. We're hopeful that there's actually an end to this bandits attack in the north, because we see that we repeat the story.
Hopefully with this new fighter jets, can be able to bomb up some of these people. I don't know. The Nigerian army has received some new jets. Vanguard. APC will be at war over Tinubu's certificate. Inflation, protect poor people from high energy prices, IMF tells federal government. Health minister to hospitals, save lives before requesting police reports. Motorists alarmed as potholes litter third mainland bridge. Senate, Lagos move to end Apapa gridlock. Southeast zones too crucial to Nigeria's development, says Tinubu. Former governors, ex-ministers, others under investigation. Okay, which story are we taking?
Let me take the Senate move. So the Senate Committee on Marine Transport, led by the chairman of the committee, Senator Wasiu Eshilokun Sani, were in Lagos to visit the governor and discuss the issue of the Apapa gridlock. They said that, Apapa is very important to the blue economy. And Lagos...
Count how many discussions on Apapa gridlock that's happening in this country. We don't build houses, but go ahead.
This one is blue economic context.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
On how it's important, and so the state governor, of course, welcomed them and talked about how important Lagos is to being an aquatic state and, providing more than 70% of the activities of that sector in the state. And they talked about how they'll be working together to improve on, the whole issue. I'm just hoping that it's not just talk like Muriel just mentioned now. Every time talk, every time talk.
Okay, which other story in Vanguard?
So I have the motorists alarmed as potholes litter third mainland bridge. I remember that there was a particular morning.
We discussed it here now.
Yes, talk about it, and we all said so. And so following that, there was a report stating that the third mainland bridge was going to be shut for 2
weeks.
Sundays, yes, to get it fixed. But then again, this report is saying that the same things are still happening. The potholes have not been fixed, and motorists are actually really complaining. It's between the Oboronshoki axis to the beginning of the bridge, and it's on both sides too. And the motorists are really just complaining and there were people commenting on the bridge, commenting on the deplorable condition of the bridge, but a civil engineer, Mr. Victor Yenuga, said it's not that bad, that the bridge is not as bad as people are saying, and that we should just bear with it. But it is...
It has started causing traffic.
Yes,
you know, Terminal Bridge, just to get into Terminal Bridge, there is a bit of traffic. You have to slow down because you can't just run past those things. It's really, really disheartening. Let's take another story in Vanguard. Okay, let me take this story. Southeast remains pivotal to nation's growth, says our president. So according to this report, the president said that the Southeast geopolitical zone remains very crucial to the growth and development of Nigeria. Mr. Stanley Nwocha, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media Communications and Office of the President, was saying this in Owerri yesterday. According, as you know, the governorship election is coming up very soon, November 11th. He was also represented by the president was represented by the Vice President, Kazim Shettima, said that all hands must be on deck for the development of the country. He says that he called on the people of Imo to rally around Governor Hope Uzodima's second-term bid, noted that his continuity in office was the best option for the state. He has done exceedingly well in terms of infrastructure development and in terms of value adding to Imo State. From the past 3 billion naira to 16 billion naira, he increased IGR to over 30 billion per annum. And so they're just campaigning, obviously, towards the November 11 elections. But according to Shettima, the president is very interested in ensuring that Southeast supports the federal government economically, and they're very crucial to the development of this nation in general. Okay, moving on quickly. Let's see how much time we have left. Okay, we've run out of time. Nigerian Tribune. There's a story of not taking peace, not negotiable in Benue. Army warns. 8 years after, 2 pipeline vandals who killed 7 DSS officers in Lagos convicted. Lagos to increase Blue Line trips from 12 to 52 from Monday. And no to TETFund's intervention in private varsity, says ASU. That's from the Nigerian Tribune. Any story quickly? Anybody?
The Ikeja High Court in Lagos, they said on Wednesday, convicted 2 pipeline vandals, Clement Ododumu and Taiwe Monday. They were charged with killing 7 officers of the DSS. They were arraigned on a 10-count charge bordering on conspiracy to commit murder, murder and illegal possession of firearms. So they've been in court since, for a very long time. I took this story because, we had taken a story about, how long it takes you have people in jail and how long it takes for a conviction to be done. And for these particular people, since 2015, that's when they've had the case. And it was just back and forth to just make sure beyond reasonable doubt that they had committed the crimes that they had committed, and they did. And so they've been finally...
What's the Lagos Blue Line?
I do.
Please, tell us what's happening.
Lagos is looking to increase the trips on the Blue Line, that's Badagry, Marina, the Maritu Marina train, from 12 to 52. And they're looking to start Saturday. There will be only morning trip on the train, and then they will stop till the whole of Sunday to switch completely to the electricity monitors or motor that they're supposed to use it on. So Nigerians have been notified.
12 trips?
No, it will now be 52 trips and eventually 72 trips daily.
Oh, wow.
So I'm hoping that presently, every morning I like...
That means you can take the train now?
No, it doesn't come my way, but my husband takes it every morning. So I drop him off at the train station and I watch the rush.
Isn't that cool?
It's very cool. I watch the rush inside and I enjoy it.
Does he get to sit or he has to stand?
Yes, he sits. Okay. He has a carry card and just enjoy it.
I have a carry card that's just sitting in my wallet. So I need to use
I have a carry card too. It's fine. I just want to go to that area for the sake of it.
No, but when my kids come for the midterm, because I didn't join when we went to...
Yeah, we didn't.
I couldn't make it. So
I didn't go either.
Yeah,
I
don't think the 3 of us
we didn't go. So let's try to plan.
Yes.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we return, it's Thursday. We love to gist and just talk about life. Stay with us. We'll be right back.